Hello, I'm Matt Davy Bones, and let's talk about war weariness. Now, before we begin, I do have a little trouble saying war weariness, so forgive me. Anyways, while a warmonger may be the diplomatic consequences of war, war weariness is the consequences of battle. So let's learn the basics of what it is and how to get it. War weariness is a mechanic with a singular purpose to reduce your city's amenities, which in turn affects your population's mood, decreasing its productivity. And just like amenities, the game allocates war weariness to your cities. From what I gather, it targets the highest population more often than not. Now, there's several mechanics that can affect war weariness fluctuation, but let's not get into that right now. Let's work from the ground up. So how is it gained? Once you're at war with one or more nations, then you and those nations will be susceptible to war weariness. The only way war weariness accumulates is after every battle with your units. That being said, if you are at war and don't engage your units in battle, you won't gain war weariness, and it will decrease every turn. And it will decrease at a faster rate if you are at peace. So let's look at this map. On the left you have Germany, and on the right you have Norway. Let's go over the three territory types that affect values on how much war weariness you gain. First is culture territory. This territory type belongs to your empire. Now, in previous installments of the game, this acted like a piss stain on the map. For example, if Norway were to invade Germany and took over a city, that territory will still be considered Germany's because they had cultural dominance there. And because so, Norway will still then take a penalty to war weariness for fighting on that territory. However, I cannot confirm if this is in Civ 6. The second is neutral territory. This is territory that no empire has any influence over. It's simple. The third is foreign territory. This is territory that belongs to another empire or territory where they have cultural dominance on. So depending on the territory you fight in, war weariness can either be increased or decreased. Every battle won or lost gives war weariness. And from what I gathered, every battle fought, win or lose, gives war weariness as well. And before we go any step further, I'm going to simplify the hell out of this. What I'm about to show you is in no way indicative to the numbers that are actually going on behind the game's curtains. This is just a demonstration to get some confused players out there an idea on how this is working. Alright, now let's pretend each leader has a bucket that accumulates war weariness points. And after passing a certain threshold, let's say 10 points, they will receive 1 war weariness. So let me pull these numbers out of my ass and use them as a base for what the leaders will receive. For each battle, both leaders will receive 2 war weariness points. 3 if one wins, and 6 if one loses. We'll start this demonstration in neutral territory. Now, because this is neutral territory, war weariness doesn't have any modifiers to increase it or decrease it. Here we're dealing with two situations, attacking in a foreign territory and defending in a cultural territory. When defending your territory, you get a decrease to your war weariness points, while the attacker gets an increase. Now, I want to say that you take no points for attacking and winning in your own territory, but I haven't been able to confirm this because I couldn't get enough battles to try it out. I do know, however, losing in your territory still gives you war weariness points, but for the sake of keeping the demonstration on track, I'm just going to reduce the numbers for the defenders. Alright, enough of that. When it comes to sieging a city, you are presented with 2 options, raise or keep. Now initially I thought you got war weariness for capturing and raising cities, but after testing it again and again, I started to notice that I was actually just getting war weariness from attacks towards the city, as if it were a big spongy unit. Raising or keeping a city only seemed to have diplomatic repercussions, which is warmongering. But regardless, when you capture a city, a huge bulk, if not all of your war weariness will go to that city. Now I know this part is confusing for some, so I might as well talk about it. When you capture a city, it will have no growth, and all of its yields will be less. This is because you technically don't own it yet. You have to deal with your opponents so they can cede their city and you could have ownership. But saying that, it has nothing to do with war weariness, and I know some people thought it did. And finally, let's talk about modifiers. The way you get into war plays a factor. You'll get a modifier that increases your war weariness points by a surprise war, a less penalty if you declare a formal war, and even less if you have a causes belli. I'm not sure if there's a difference in declaring a war or being declared war on. If you know, let me know. Other tidbits on what causes war weariness is being pillaged, having your units captured, being nuked, and the greatest penalty of all is launching a nuke yourself. Alright folks, on a final note, as far as I'm aware, there's currently no video out there that's talking about war weariness. So I have very little to bounce off in terms of information. That being said, I wish to treat this more like an open discussion, so feel free to discuss your findings or your theories. Now I'm gonna open a dictionary, find the word weariness, and take a piss on it. Stay excellent to one another, and see you later. So depending on the territory you fight in, war weariness can either be increased or decreased. God damn it! The second I can't even start. Alright. This. Oh man. Just thinking about saying war weariness.